Greetings and welcome to the Transform Podcast. I'm your host, Christopher Anastasio. Today is Monday, June 13th, 2022, and this is episode 66. And before we jump into episode 66, as I usually like to do, I just wanted to put in a plug for you guys for our last two episodes that published last week, 64 and 65. If you listen to episode 64, you'll learn about why it is advantageous to create, for your industry or service or your product, some kind of free giveaway that you can provide to visitors to your website, or come to you through a social account that gives them something of value. It's not a meaningless item, but it goes ahead and provides them some value, makes their life a little bit easier, creates that goodwill between you and that party, and increases the chances that you can nurture them into a conversion where they become a customer or a client or whatever you call them. So that was episode 64. In 65, talked about the importance of sort of consistently and repeatedly and constantly showing up on your social media channels, particularly if there's one channel that you are, let's say, most suited towards publishing content on. Now, you should only publish on one single channel, but if there's one channel that you feel is best suited to your audience, you kind of hammer away at that one and you create this tremendous degree of resonance and association with that channel, and you become very well known there, and that can spill over and feed and augment and help you on the other channels that you maintain. So that's episode 64 and 65. Check them out when you get a chance, guys. Let's dive into episode 66 here. Actually, another little trick or hack that I wanted to pass on to you guys that I've been testing out a little bit lately, and I think it shows promise in terms of sort of a way of producing content that's video-based, and to a varying extent, you can appear in the video or not, depending on your preference, yet it absolutely captures a voiceover with a screen share aspect to it, and it becomes a very interesting way to produce and create instructional content, or content that showcases something that's on your computer screen, or exhibits or walks through something that's on your screen for your viewer. So the thing that I'm talking about, the program that I'm talking about specifically, not to say this is the only program that you'll ever find that does such a thing, I'm just mentioning this one because it's one that I've used and become very comfortable with. Of course, at Transform and individually, we have no affiliate relationship with this company nor its product. But as a useful tool, it's something I wanted to pass on to you guys and make you aware of as part of this podcast. So, what am I referring to? It's a program called Loom, Loom. And of course, if you're familiar with it, the word loom actually defines as an apparatus for making fabric by weaving yarn or thread. Okay, so that's probably where you've heard the word loom before, but I'm talking about Loom, the application, the software that allows you to record something on your screen, whether you do the whole screen, whether you do a web browser tab, whatever the case may be, but you choose what you want to present. And then, sort of as a default, as the recording begins, your screen will be visible. Whatever you selected will be visible. And in the bottom left corner, although you can drag it around and place it where you'd like, is a little circle with your face and a recording timer and some other controls, for pausing and things like that. And basically, what this allows you to do is to present your audience something, narrate over the top of it, and also appear on screen without necessarily taking up the entire screen. I think you can make, the biggest you can make that circle, I think, is like maybe the size of like a little bigger than like a $50, if you're familiar with US coins, but you can make it smaller than that. You can actually make it go away so that the video can actually be just the thing you're sharing and just your voiceover. But if you're like, hey, Chris, I want to create more video content, I want to show my face more, I'm a little reticent to like sit in front of a ring light with a camera blaring at me and, you know, taking up the whole screen. But I would like to kind of ease my way out there. Then I really encourage you guys to take a look at Loom. Okay, there's a lot of reasons to use Loom, not just that one, but that does help you, in my opinion, kind of get over the hump and produce some video content that's dynamic, that's a little bit different, and is highly useful. And we'll come back to that in a moment, the usefulness of it. It's just a great way to kind of get yourself out there and produce some content, almost second nature. Because when you produce content like this, obviously you have, I mean, for lack of a better word, you have a crutch on the screen because you're actually sharing your screen. You're actually exhibiting something that's really, even though your face is there, the thing that's on the screen is the really interesting thing that the audience is focused on. So the audience is watching your screen, they're seeing what you're showing them, they're following along with whatever you're instructing them on, and it so happens that your face is in the lower left corner, and of course that your voice is being heard as well. But it's super, super exciting way, in my opinion, for you guys to produce content like this. Now, let me come back to the point that I was making about usefulness. So think about, I mean, the possibilities here are endless, guys. Let's talk about a couple different ways you can use, just off the top of my head. I mean, there's a million different ways you can do this or use this, but let's say we'll do an example of an e-commerce store selling physical products, and then we'll talk about, let's say, a tax preparer. Okay, we'll do an example of a service and a product. So let's say you own an e-commerce store on Shopify. You've got all kinds of products listed on your site. Obviously, all the images are there. Somebody can go there. They can thumb through the pictures that you have. They maybe even watch a video of a demonstration or whatnot. But what's really interesting with Loom, combined with that situation, is you could create a video on Loom where you go into your store and, for example, you show your audience how to, let's say, walk through the process of making a certain product selection. Let's say you have products that have specialized uses, and you could literally create a video, your face in the corner, your voice leading them through how to choose the right product, and at the exact same time, the screen is up in your store, and you're clicking on products and saying, check this one out, use this one for this situation, use this product variant for this other situation, or choose this color for this decor. Or, I mean, you know, I'm just making this stuff off the top of my head, guys, but you get the point. I mean, if you have an e-commerce store and you've got product lines out there, I think you can kind of easily envision how, an application like Loom can turn your store into almost like a browsing experience with you leading the individual by the hand virtually, with you being present for the video. Obviously, you can put a demonstration video on your Shopify store, of course. You can have something pre-recorded. It talks about a product. It shows somebody, using the product or whatever. But the thing I like about Loom is it's a little bit more informal because you're appearing in the video, and you can make it a little bit more expansive. So as you're doing the Loom, if you think of, you could do this with the product, you do that with the product, you can just keep going. But if you pre-record a video demonstration, put that on your Shopify store, well, if you think of something else or you think of something you want to add to that demonstration, now you have to re-record the video. So not that product video demonstrations and stuff like that are bad, it's just they're a little bit more rigid. And so doing what I'm describing with Loom gives you a little bit more breathing room, a little bit more chance to sort of improvise, be a little extemporaneous, that kind of thing. So, but I think you see the value there, guys, of how you can show somebody, hey, here's how you go through the checkout process. Here's how you can sign up for the newsletter. Here's our new product line. We're announcing some new products we just put on the website. Check them out. They're over in this section. There's so many different ways you could slice this with your store, and using Loom to really bring out the highlights and the different things you want somebody to focus on when they get to that store. Now let's talk about a service. Let's talk about like a tax preparer, right? So let's say you're a tax preparer who wants to bring in more business. You also want to give some things away of value. You know that if somebody just has a 1040 easy form to prepare, they probably don't need your services. But you want to create that goodwill. You want to produce some value. You want to show that you know what you're talking about. Maybe throw some tips and tricks in there, that kind of a thing. Maybe that person who has an easy tax return this year has a hard tax return next year, and then thinks, oh, let me go check out Chris's video on filling out a 1040 easy because he had some tips and tricks for me that might apply this year, or I might just need to hire him because I have a totally different tax return they got to do this year. So, for example, bring up a Form 1040 easy on your computer screen. Go into Loom, share your screen, your face is in the corner, and now you literally narrate the completion of the form. Go up top, put your name, address, social security number. Come down to line 1, enter your gross wages for the year. Go down a couple lines, enter any standard deduction that you get. You get the point, guys. You just go line by line. Hey, put this here, put this there. Watch out for this here. IRS is putting more attention over here. So you can bring to life, again, with you on the screen, with you talking through it, with you moving your pointer around, you can bring to life this very, sort of mundane sort of thing that would just, would sit there on the screen as an image, or even if you had a video pre-recorded, again, you face the same constraints that I mentioned with the e-commerce store. If you think of things along the way, if you want to do a little, subtle selling along the way, and you let's say you didn't have that in the first video you recorded, you have to go back and record another video. So to me, I really like Loom in this situation, particularly this situation, because with your face on the screen and a service business where the person is working with you, it's really nice to have your face on the screen. Okay, so and then of course as tax laws change and every year there's something different, you just record another Loom. Okay, and you can build on top of the last one. You can just totally scrap the last one and just start over from the beginning, and lots and lots of possibilities, guys. Okay, now once you've recorded your Loom in those different examples I just gave you, then you can start proliferating that video across social media channels. So in my experimentation, one platform that worked really nicely with Loom was Facebook business page. You paste the link in there, and just like any other link you would paste in there, or URL, you're going to get that image card that comes up. So you're not just going to have like a lengthy gobbledygook URL. You're going to have, whatever text you put in the caption, and then an image card that when it's clicked, that person is taken over to your Loom workspace. They see a thumbnail of the video with your face in the corner, whatever you're sharing on the screen. They click the play button, and now they have a video of you walking them through a tax return, showing them a product line in your Shopify store, or whatever else may be the case. Okay? If you paste the link into Twitter, you're not going to get that image card that sometimes comes up in Twitter. It usually should come up in Twitter. At least in my experience, you're going to paste the Loom link in there, and it's just going to be a kind of a garbled link that's still clickable. So that's the key, that it's clickable. But the other nice thing that Twitter does is because the URL is so long in a Loom video, it will cut it off. So it looks like a fairly manageable URL that's clickable. The person doesn't have to sort of be hit with the entire alphanumeric URL when they come to your tweet. Another way you can get that link out there, go to your Instagram account, go into Stories, go into the upper right, click the little smiley face or whatever it is up in that corner that brings up all the stickers and countdowns and things like that. Click the link option, paste your Loom video link in there, put some customized text, a nice little title to it or something like that. Don't leave it the way it is. Don't leave this massive URL in there. Put some customized link text in there, and then post that to your stories. Okay, so that's just a couple ways to use it there. Now, for TikTok, haven't quite gotten that far with it yet. Don't know how it fits to the formatting and all that kind of stuff. I will play around with TikTok and how it fits in there when you upload a Loom video into your TikTok account, if that's even possible to be done in sort of a clean fashion. But we will get back to you guys on whether you can do TikTok. I think let's just literally while I am talking to you guys, I am going to experiment with LinkedIn. I did not do that already, so hang on one second. Let me bring up a business page on LinkedIn. And I'll let you guys know if it produces the image card, if it just puts the link in there. And it looks like LinkedIn produces the image card, just like Facebook does. So that's great news there. To me, yes, you can put a clickable link in there, and you're going to get some people to click it. I think when the image card comes up, it's visual. that kind of shows them what's behind that URL, you get a much better chance of the person clicking on it. So the fact that Facebook and LinkedIn display image cards when you paste the Loom URL into them is a great thing. So just keep that in mind, guys, and I think that's a really good sign there that you get that out of it. One other thing before we wrap up, guys, that you can use this for that I like is sort of the quickness that you can sort of fire up Loom and record, let's say, quick reaction videos. So if you're in an industry that, let's say, there's a lot of breaking news or there's some, momentous news that comes out every once in a while or whatever the case may be, you can literally like bring up your web browser, bring the news story up on the screen, record a Loom video, do your hot take on that breaking news, close it down and paste the video on all these channels that I mentioned. So again, it's another way to make use of this very nimble application that very seamlessly brings together the three elements: the thing on your screen, your voice talking over it, and your face in the corner. And I think you bring those three things together, and it's just a really wonderful way to create content. Now, FYI, guys, there is on Loom you have a certain amount of free, basically. You get like 25. I think it's like when you go in free, you get 25 videos, and then after that, you can't record anymore. And then you have a timer, so you have 5 minutes, and you can't go over 5 minutes. So that's a real hot take if you only have 5 minutes. If you're really going to use this tactic that I'm talking about, you need to have the full subscription for Loom, and I think it's like $10 a month per person. So it depends on how many people you bring into your workspace. But if you're the only one making the Looms, it's like $10 a month for yourself to make unlimited Looms. It's such an easy way to create content. You guys should definitely take a look at it. There's also a mobile app. I've played around with the iPhone mobile app. Problem there is you're not going to appear on the screen. So you can screen record your iPhone and you can talk over it, but you're not going to appear in a corner. I mean, at least the experimentation I've done, you don't appear on the screen. I don't know if they're going to change that or if they're thinking of changing, or maybe they already changed it. But it is something to note that if you're using it on the phone, there's some limited application there. And honestly, I think it takes away one of the key elements, the fact that you're not appearing. Okay, and I think you can always cop out and you can shut yourself off on the desktop, but I like the fact that it defaults to you being visible on the desktop, and you just kind of go from there with it. So and get comfortable appearing and that sort of thing. So all that being said, guys, check out Loom. Check out what it can do for you. Obviously, you can do the free trial just to play with it and see what I'm talking about and do some experimentation. But I think if you guys really sign up to this tactic, you got to go in with the paid $10 a month version of it. So anyway, we're going to wrap it up here, guys. We will be back later this week with episode 67. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this content. Send us any questions. Send us any feedback. Send us any comments on what we can address for you, what questions you guys have, what we can expound upon. We love to hear that stuff to improve the show for you. You can check out Transform on Facebook and LinkedIn, transform.com on the website, and of course, we'd love for you guys to subscribe to the podcast, drop us a like, share it, whatever you can do with it. We really appreciate it, guys. But hope everybody's off to a good start this week. Check out Loom. Let us know what you think about it and how you're using it for your business. And we will talk to you guys again soon. Have a great night, guys. Bye-bye.